Welcome back to Valentine Zen Doodle. This is part 3. What we're going to work on today is finish up our Zen Doodle. We've been working really hard the past 2 times we've been together to create these patterns inside this really cool spirally effect. The first time we were together, we discussed what we wanted to do for our background. I decided on this pinwheel sort of spiral. There's just random strings like this that you could use. There's the circles that you could use too. Let's go ahead and make some more patterns. Let's finish it up, and then we're going to put the final touch to it, which is going to be a couple of Valentine's hearts. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with some lines. Again, we break down what we do. We start by filling in a little bit of detail. All right, I got a little bit of detail. Let's go ahead and add some more detail. And then perhaps I'll make this checkerboard. This would be a good time for me to get out probably my chisel tip, so it's a little bit easier. I don't like coloring with Sharpies. Coloring with Sharpies takes a long time. It's really meant for outlining or drawing lines with. If you want to color something in, get a thicker marker. It's so much easier, and you don't waste as much ink too. Sharpies weren't really meant for coloring in large areas, right? Chisel tips are. So here is my checkerboard. I'm doing every other. Leave it white, black, leave it white, black, black, leave it white, black, leave it white, leave it white, black, leave it white, black. So it's every other with a checkerboard. So that's a pretty decent pattern. Now that I'm almost done with this, I'm starting to think about what I could do next. For these little areas, it's okay to color in with a Sharpie because they are so tiny. All right, looking good, except for here, but that's okay, I'll fix it. All right, what's next? Let's do some scales. Do these look a little bit like fish scales to you? This will be my mermaid tail. So I'm going in and I'm filling in some pattern. And after I go and I fill in my pattern, I gotta go back and add more detail. So the detail that I'm going to add to this pattern, maybe I'll just make another little ring inside of it, just so it looks really detailed. It's going pretty quickly now. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4 more after this. Remember, scribbling is not Zentangle. I know it might be tempting to hurry up and finish and get to that end, and scribbling is not a solution. Please do not scribble on your Zentangle. You will be so sorry that you did it, or I will at least. All right, here we go. What else? What else? Let's see, I think I might do something over here. Some wavy lines. This is a pattern. I'm not scribbling, right? I'm creating a pattern. I am not scribbling. I'm being pretty careful. Careful to not scribble. It could be tempting. I'm trying not to cross my lines here. And then what will I do? I'm putting in some detail, but I'm going to put more detail in after. Perhaps I will put in some random little dots. To fill up some space, to make it look a little bit more interesting. Tiny little circles. That's cute. Okay, next, I like to call this one 3 peas in a pod. I'm going to go and take this little section And I'm going to make a wavy line again, but this one I'm going to go like this. And I'm going to make 3 peas in a pod. Doesn't it look like a little pea pod? I'll just color in the sections black. I'll make some more lines around it. Three peas in a pod over here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Can't really see the others. More peas. It's getting a little confusing. Just have a little bit of a plan. Gonna make more peas over here. So whatever I do on one side, I'm kind of doing the opposite for the other in this particular pattern. Okay, 2 more. 2 more, what can I do? See how I turned my paper to make it easier for myself? Do whatever you need to do. Besides, this is gonna look good no matter how you turn it. I think I'm gonna do something just simple here, because I wanna show you the end, what we're gonna do next. Today we need some paper and some scissors, or you could draw directly on this. If you're using a Sharpie marker, you can draw directly on this. We're gonna make a few hearts. Last but not least, I'm going to make, what could it be? What could it be? There's so many things to pick from. I'm going to make the basket weave. This way, that way. Line's going this way. See where I'm going with this? Sort of a basket weave look. Whatever you can think of that's a pattern, that's neat, is the right answer. You pick whatever you want to. So I'm just doing opposite. This way, other way, this way, other way. Okay, I finished. Next, let's add some hearts, because it is for Valentine's Day, right? This is a Valentine's Zen Tangle. So what I have is I have a couple pieces of paper. We're gonna add 2 or 3 hearts, no more. But I'm gonna go ahead and take my piece of paper and fold it in half. Have you ever made a heart this way? You fold it in half, like a book. This is the spine of the book, and this is the pages of the book. On the spine of the book, I'm gonna go ahead and draw a half of a heart. So I've got my curve and I come down. Can you see that? Make sure it's on the spine of the book, not on the pages. Then I can go ahead and cut it open, or not cut it open, but cut it out rather. And this is going to be one of my hearts. Is it too big, I wonder? Oh, that's okay. I like that. Now I'll make a tinier pink one, I think. So I'm just gonna take a small piece of this pink. I don't want too much. I'll cut this in half. Sorry, fold it in half. Remember, we've got our book. We've got our spine of the book. If you can just cut directly without drawing, you can. Takes a little practice to get there though, so if you're not comfortable, cut it. Or draw it before you cut it. Go ahead and make that little heart. And I've got my little hearts. So I think I like them there, but move them around. Where do you like your hearts? Maybe something like this? That's cute too. I might do that. When you move your hearts around, figure out where you want them to be. Then we can get out our glue stick and we can glue them down. Remember, if you did this with a water-based marker, you can't draw on it. But if you did it with Sharpie, and if you don't have any red paper or pink paper, you can go ahead and draw directly on it with a marker. do a test run first because you don't want to draw on your artwork if you're not really sure how to draw a heart. So look at my overlapping hearts. How's that? Cute. And then maybe the very last thing I'm going to do is outline my hearts so they stand out just a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and go around each heart with a thin black line, nice and careful. And that's just going to help them to stand out. You don't have to do this part if you don't want to. If you color over this instead of using the cut paper, you will be able to see the pattern underneath, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Just keep that in mind. If you want a solid looking heart, use the paper. And if you don't have any red paper, you can always color a piece of white paper red. And there we have it. That is the finale of our Zen Doodle artwork. Just for fun, in one of my sections, I'm gonna add a little more color. Just for fun, to balance it off. I have it really heavy with color up here, but there's no color down here. So check this out. If you wanna do this with one section, color one section only, do that. But pretty much keep this black and white, except for 1 or 2 or 3 hearts, no more than 3 hearts, and a little tiny section of just a little bit of color. Don't color the whole thing in. Check it out. Doesn't that look really kind of abstract-y, balanced, and interesting? I like it. Cool. All right, that is all. Have fun with this. I hope you had as much fun as I did. I definitely had a lot of fun making this. I know this is kind of a long tutorial, but I wanted to show you all those patterns that are out there, and I couldn't even touch the surface. Anyway, I can't wait to see what you've done. You worked so hard on these. Pat yourself on the back. Congratulations. I will talk to you soon.